Why should I have that? I almost get upset with myself having an expectation of them that they can't even meet. You know, like, why should I, if you've been this way for 50 years on this one occasion, why should I think you're different? If you've been bad with money all your life and I let you borrow money, you don't pay me back. Why am I upset? Why did I expect you to pay me back? You don't. The reason you borrow money because you owe Rozzy money. And Rozzy want his money back because Rozzy got to pay Buff. What up, what up, what up, what up? It's Three Brothers No Sense, your favorite barbershop style podcast. I'm Tavares Ferguson, a.k.a. Ferg, joined with my co-host, Buff and Rozzy. I need to stop saying my government name. Y'all don't have to say y'all, so my Ferg. Edit that out, Rozzy.
Gotcha. What's up? What you got, Buff?
Not a lot, man. We just, I was just thinking, we pretty much said goodbye to two presidents last week or a week and a half ago. Obviously, with former President Jimmy Carter passing away, said our goodbyes to him. And then Biden, man, by the time you hear this episode, well, depending on what time you listen to this episode, we will officially have a different president. And you just think about the career Biden has had. He gave over 50 years of his life to public service, from a senator to a vice president and then president. So I think, like Carter, it's almost fitting that he's leaving around the same time Carter passed away, because those are two presidents that I think were not appreciated during their time. And you could say it almost about any president, but these two in particular, I think, like, nobody wants to be compared to Carter, even on the left, but he really did some good things that were ahead of his time. And I imagine in the immediate future, nobody's going to want to be compared to Biden. Biden did some great things.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he was a good president.
He just, like, we've said this so many times on this show, the Democratic Party is just bad at promoting their wins and just explaining exactly so much of what Biden, you watch, so much of what he accomplished. We already see it with the ceasefire deal. So many of what he accomplished, Trump is going to take credit for.
Trump's already taking credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and just explain the ceasefire for the folks who don't follow that, right?
Oh, so what was that? October 2023, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hamas attacked Israel. I forgot how many people they killed. Then they had over 200 hostages at one point. But they've now not only reached a ceasefire deal, but they're releasing most, if not all, is it all the hostages?
All the hostages, yeah.
That's huge, man. Like, that's arguably one of the reasons why Biden was down in the polls, is because a lot of people in his coalition on the left felt like he wasn't doing enough to stop the war in Palestine. So this is huge. Obviously, the election is already settled now, but I just really hope that, in 10, 15, 20 years, he's given his flowers. It would be nice if they can be given to him now while he's alive, but he really did do some good things, and it's just hard to tell the average person that, because the average person likes exactly what Trump gives us. That plain talk that doesn't matter if it's true, it sounds good. You know what I mean? Like, and that's pretty much what this country largely has been built on for the most part. When we say shit like, we're the best country, that sounds great, but based on what? And I have no problem with you saying we're the best country, but like, what are you basing that on, other than your feeling that I feel like we're the best? Because numerically, what are we number one in other than locking up people? And I think
infant mortality.
Infant mortality.
Yep.
So that's all I wanted to say on that, man.
Well, you need to stop being unpatriotic. And And I quote, America, yeah, Team America.
But I always say this, my biggest compliment I can pay to America, I don't know if it's the greatest country in the world. There's no other place I want to live. That's the biggest compliment I can pay it.
Yeah. There's somewhere I want to retire to, but not live right now.
So that's all I got, man.
Cool. Well, I got a few things. Happy MLK Day, because along with the inauguration, it will be Martin Luther King Day. Go ahead, Buff. You got something else?
I'm sorry. I assume you're probably going to get to this. The Daredevil trailer.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say anything. Yeah.
Listen, let me just say this real quick. I was watching the trailer, and I was like, damn. I was like, oh, man, this is dope. I said, man, this sure would be cool if they could bring back the Punisher. I said, oh, shit. Oh, man. So it looks good. It
does.
I'm very hopeful.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Again.
Yeah. So again, back to MLK weekend. It is Black Ski Weekend. So for all the skiers out there, be safe this weekend if you're heading to Colorado or anywhere else. So go have fun, enjoy, but be safe. And talk about a oh my god moment. Nintendo has finally released the Switch 2. And so the specs look good on it. I like it's backwards compatible. So you can still play all your Switch games with it, all of that. Like they're setting it up for people to want to upgrade, right? Like, okay, I don't want to keep with the Switch. I want to go get the Switch 2 because I can play all my games, use all the chips that I had. They're using the exact same chip or game chips and all of that on a better system. And so and there's people that are talking about, oh my God, it's not PlayStation 5, it's not next gen, blah, 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 blah. Nintendo has never played in that space. Nintendo is like, we're just going to make a gaming system that makes fun games, right? That kids can play. The controllers are smaller, so the kids can get their fingers around it and everything like that. It's like, it's made for a demographic that I can move, I can go, I can be outside with it, all of that. It's made for co-op play and people to be on it at the same time. Me and my kids, we play 1-2 Switch and Mario Jamboree just came out and Mario Party and all of those. Like, it's a good system, especially for families and kids. And so we're super excited about the Switch 2. It comes out, I think they're saying sometime around April, May, so that they can get ahead and get the early adopters out of the way and then be ready for Christmas too, instead of trying to drop near Christmas and everybody trying to get it at the same time. So it's a really, really smart way for them not to have this, out stock and people having Biden and all the resellers and everything like that, because they will go in with plenty of stock and the early adopters out of the way before they go into the holiday season. So hopefully you can get a Switch during the holiday season because all the early adopters have already bought theirs. So really, really smart move on Nintendo. It looks great. I'm excited, man. Ollie is just like over the moon about it. His Switch is broken. It's been broken for about 6 months now, where it doesn't recognize when he puts the controllers on it. So he has to like hold them in play. And I asked him for Christmas. I was like, "You want a new Switch? Put that on your Christmases." And he's like, "Nah, because if I get a new Switch, I won't get the Switch 2 when it comes out." So he was smart about it. He was like, "Nope, I'm just gonna hold off. I'm gonna use this broken Switch until the Switch 2 comes out." So my man, he's thinking he's smart on that one. So have you seen it, Ferg? I know I put the picture in the group. So yeah. So I know that like TJ think he's not getting it.
Nintendo Switch has every game that Nintendo has had in the past on there.
Yes. Well,
for the most part.
Yeah, because you can, they have what they call Nintendo Online, and part of paying for it is like $100 a year or whatever, and so that you can play games and all that, just like you do for PlayStation. But it comes with all the Nintendo games and all the Super Nintendo games, and you can pay an extra $30 a year and get all the Nintendo 64 games on it as well.
So, like Tecmo Bowl?
I think Tecmo Bowl is on there. So I can check.
You gonna buy a Switch just to play Tecmo Bowl?
Probably. And Double Dragon.
Yeah.
I want this Double Dragon on there.
I know Double Dragon's on there. Yeah.
Really?
All 3.
Double Dragon 3 though. Double Dragon 3.
Oh, don't sleep on 2.
Yeah,
Final was like that too.
What was it? Streets of Rage is on there too. So
What
even
about
though
Final Fight? Final Fight?
I think so.
I just know that 64, if they can get that 007, an Odd Job. You didn't play 007?
Oh yeah, 007 was a doom. Just the pause music alone.
Yeah, that was a game circa 99, 2000.
What came first, the Cube or the 64?
I try to forget the Cube.
Was that their miss? One of them was like a miss.
The GameCube?
Yeah.
I mean, for it to be a miss, I mean, it had some really good games, but it's just, it came out when PlayStation and everything else, and so it was just like,
that was their first.
And then they had the Wii right behind.
That was their attempt at the disc, right?
Yeah.
I thought the Wii was dope. The Wii looked dope. I actually wanted a Wii.
So let's see. The NES, so they have Balloon Fight, Baseball, Donkey Kong, Double Dragon, Dr. Mario, Excite Bike, Ghosts and Goblins, Gradius, Ice Climber, Ice Hockey, Legend of Zelda, Mario Brothers, Pro Wrestling, River City Ransom, Soccer, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario 3, Tecmo Bowl is on there, Tennis, Yoshi, Legend of Zelda, I mean, Super Dodgeball, Metroid, like,
Super
Dr.
Tecmo
Mario, Metroid, SP, Ninja Games
the right
on there.
question.
Which one?
Super Tecmo Bowl. Sorry.
Well, that's the regular Nintendo stuff. And they
Super Tecmo Bowl was on the regular Nintendo. And Double Dribble, because that was the best graphics in the 80s. When Buddy dunked, we were like, man, that looks like real life.
Let's see.
Yeah.
You sure Super Tecmo Bowl was on the regular Nintendo?
I want to say it was NES, right? But let's not go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. I'll be here all day, but look at it. Here, I'll just text this out to y'all so you can look at.
Well, if TJ can get it on his Switch, if not, then waste of time.
I'll check. I think I can add them to my family plan. I have the family plan, and I think you can get up to 5 kids on it. So I can probably add him on mine.
I tell you, look what your goddaddy did for you.
There you go. So yeah, send me his gamer tag, his Nintendo username, and I'll see can I add it.
I'm definitely gonna get a Switch. I'm gonna eventually jump on PS5 with y'all, man. January been kind of crazy.
Hey man, you need to
Grand
go ahead
Auto,
and
man.
Hey man,
6 is about to come out, man, and
y'all sound like
they're taking it back to Miami.
Y'all some criminals, though. Let me know. Let me know when y'all play some wholesome games, man.
I live a pretty wholesome life, you know. Only rob certain people. I only rob.
Oh, you like Omar? Yeah.
I only steal certain cars.
He got a code.
Like I don't rob black people.
Yeah, you know. And if you got, I only take people who have like nice cars. You know, it seems like they work hard for their money. Like it was like it looked like a Ford Escape or something, whatever that. I almost like because I needed to get some. Like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna stand in the street and see what comes. My club have reasonable prices. I'm a pretty good guy.
Ali called me out. Ali and Sophie was like, "You're a real drug dealer," because I have a meth lab, an acid lab, a club, and I'm doing counterfeiting all at the same time. So yeah. So, but for the folks out there, for the listeners out there, me and Ferg just got on Grand Theft Auto Online, and so we've been like ganging up and everything, and it's just been a fun time. Just
it's not a gang. We have
kind of been introduced into the beauty. We have a crew, but Ferg has been introduced to the beauty of like gaming, where even if you don't like to game or like you're a huge gamer, it's the just the friendship of it all, right? Like just being there, hanging out, talking, laughing, doing jobs and stuff together. The online portion of it, bringing the like the family and the friends together. There's a big deal about that. So
yeah. So, Buff, the best way to explain it is, it's a SWAT that you and Sherman wanted us to be.
You mean Sherman? You mean Sherman?
No. Little Evil.
Stage name.
Baby Hummer.
So
so we get to, and what I do love about it, and so I will give this disclaimer, is I've never been a gamer. even when I wasn't young, I wasn't a gamer. You know, when they start putting too many buttons on it, I was like, after Sega, when I got more than 3 buttons, I'm like, I'm out. So I haven't, it took a while for me to get a PS4. I got myself a PS5 for Christmas. And what I do like about it, because even with the PS4, I never got online. I think we played Call of Duty or something a couple of times in the past.
We were on Red Dead a couple times.
It was way too much going on. People were and it was too quick. It wasn't able to build on anything. It was, hey, we gonna go on this mission, everybody gonna die, and I was the first person dead. But what I do like about it, what Razi said, is it gave me a chance to connect with people that I don't get to. I don't normally talk to, and we had hold on one second. My kids wouldn't come, people, and that was very important for my son to the point he had to open the door. But you get to connect with people. Like there's people that I see and talk to via text message, but we really started talking. We played catch up. My cousin Bruce, my brother, like we've talked more and spent more time just connecting. And Razi will tell you, we'll do a heist or something, and I'll just jump in a car with them and just ride out and just watch. Because I'm not really there to get down like they do, but it's pretty cool, Buff. I think you'll enjoy it. You get some time, jump on. You don't want to get too, well, it don't even matter if you get too far behind because we're going to help you catch up.
Yeah. And on top of that, Grand Theft Auto 6 is based in Miami. So, you get to go to Vice
They
City.
might make us, you can buy a condo in Miami, another condo in Miami. Maybe we can buy your condo in Miami.
Right. We can find it and they'll be like, this is what it looks like in Buff's condo.
Yeah, we hang out at each other's crib and everything.
Yeah, man. So, and last but not least, what I want to shout out, Enron is made, they call it the Enron Egg, and it's a mini, like, nuclear reactor that they say can power your home. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like, little mini reactors, like, think Iron Man and the arc reactor, and he tried to make it, like, super small and stuff. So Enron has an egg that is probably the size of like our mics. So think about this mic, and it's about that size, and it's a mini nuclear reactor, and they say it can power your home for up to 10 years. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but again, I like to stay up on stuff. I'm gonna follow it because Enron is trying to come back. And maybe they won't take everybody money in the Ponzi scheme this time and lose all their employees' money. But they're trying to come back out with that. They've shifted focus, and I just want to throw it out there. So, if you want to buy some Enron stock, now might be the time to do it. So check it out. But that's all I got.
You're not going to talk about your boy?
Who's that?
Drake.
Oh, that's Buff Boy.
No, it's not.
He dropped the lawsuit for the folks out there. I don't know if we talked about that last week or not. He did drop the lawsuit, but looking at the lawsuit,
but there's more.
I will say this: nothing that he said in there is untrue. Let's be honest about it. Like, a lot of what he said probably happened. When you the baseline of the lawsuit, right? What is it? IMG or UMG, like pushing Kendrick Lamar over his album. I think a little bit of that is it became popular, so they started pushing it, right? And Drake didn't like that, but I mean,
opposed to unless, and I've never seen this happen. They push everything equally. Somebody's going to get pushed more than the other person. And it's a beef, right? So it's not like if Drake would have got pushed more, if he had more fire music, then we would be having this lawsuit? Is it just because he got pushed? Light skin stuff. You go. I'm good. I can't. My logic can't do it for me. Explain, Razi.
It's hard. Well, put it like this. Again, at the surface, it makes sense. What he was saying makes sense. The thing about it is it lawsuit worthy or not? Right? Like, was he actually harmed by it? He said things that happened, and he's suing that those things happened. That's what I mean by that. Like, it's not worth the lawsuit. He shouldn't have sued. It was stupid to sue for it. But he was saying these things happen. And then what he added on, which was the part that didn't make sense for the lawsuit, was he was aggrieved by them, right? Or like, hey, these negatively affected me, instead of this is just how it goes. But he did say those things but they did happen. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's not like
he talked about being anti-Semitic, like all this stuff. Come on.
That's the aggrieved part, right? Like, he's accusing him of doing those things. I'm saying, like, when he talked about, oh, UMG pushed this over this, they did, but it was because it was more popular. He talked about, I can't remember who he said got shot or whatever. Based on it, it's like the person got shot, right? Kendrick didn't cause that, but the person got shot. Like, that's what I mean. It's like the things he's suing for happened. It's the problem is that he wasn't aggrieved by it. It didn't make sense for the lawsuit. If that's what I'm talking about.
Buff, that's what I call light skin loyalty. y'all more loyal than the GOP, baby.
Y'all definitely did some gymnastics there.
Again, I don't agree with the lawsuit.
Y'all have that GOP loyalty. We don't care what happens. But light skin loyalty strikes again. I asked somebody else, and they stood behind him. I'm like, man, y'all might as well take Kanye. You know,
I don't stand behind him. No, I'm just saying. But that's what happens in most lawsuits, though. A lot of times in lawsuits, they're usually telling the truth when they talk about what happened. It's just how it affected them is where you really have to go in and say, does this make sense or not?
Did he leave out the part that they were beefing and he said just as much? It's he punched me and I got a black eye. Did you punch him first, sir? Yeah, but he punched me and I got a black eye. Would you say you guys started fight? Did you punch him back after that, or did you got in a fight? But he punched me. You lost a fight and you're suing.
Right.
I mean, that's all it is. You lost a fight and you're suing. You know, we agreed to fight. At any point, you could have stopped fighting.
And he's trying to make sure the song doesn't get played in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's going to, and it's going to turn up.
Or he can come out with a new version and just not like us, the remix, which is a different song.
Put Wayne on it.
You need to come out to BBL Drizzy.
And what you also like, so the reason why Drake is so full of shit is he's also going after, content reactors or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, so he, like, you claimed that you fed Kendrick Lamar all this stuff. So how you gonna get mad that he repeated it? If that, so that's how I can't even listen to that dude anymore. I might have to delete him from my playlist.
That part was because when I go to the barbershop, it's always on like one of those divorce shows where or paternity court. So why are you contesting this paternity? Well, she told me I wasn't a father, so I'm not the dad. Well, he's the dad. Ma'am, you told him he's not the father. Like, you did this. He is here because you told him on multiple occasions. There's a text message on Tuesday. You told him that before you got to court. And now you're wondering why he's questioning paternity. Drake. Put your light skin down, baby. So, yeah. I mean, that, and have you guys seen Ptolemy Gray?
I've seen it, and I signed up for 3 months Apple for free because they had a little free trial or whatever, and so I'm gonna watch it. So is it worth it?
It's one of the better shows I've seen recently. So I think it came out in 2022. I don't think it's new, from my understanding. And it stars Samuel L. Jackson, and he plays a character named Ptolemy Gray who suffers from like dementia, Alzheimer's, and he he has an opportunity to take a medication or a series of medications that bring back his memory, and his mind is functioning at an all-time high level, and it's really good. I think his acting is dynamic. The young lady who stars opposite him does a great job, and it shines a light because I've had several conversations with people who've dealt with people who had to be placed in additional care because of dementia, Alzheimer's, and things like that. And so it was a perfect show for that time, and it just showed a whole another level of it's like how bad it could get. And so it's a really good show. If you haven't seen it, Ptolemy Gray, it's on Apple TV. I think you'll enjoy it. And have you guys watched Severance?
That's another one. No.
Yeah, I keep hearing about it. I didn't know it was in the second season. And I think, Buff, you mentioned it several months ago about it's almost hard to not find Get TV, but keep up with Get TV because you have so many streaming services. You have so many things going on. If you don't have Apple TV, Prime, any of those things, I think it's on Prime, Horizon, or Apple TV?
Severance, I think, is on Prime.
Yeah, like then you miss out on a plethora of great shows. So I'm not telling anybody to go get all these streaming services, but it is hard. And it makes me think about the day when they just really had the big three, ABC, CBS, and NBC. And this is pre-Fox and all that stuff. This is, VHF channels. So now we're looking at everything under the sun. Can't keep up. But that's really all I have. Don't want to talk about this guy. I said we're going to go a week without talking about it. So let's do it.
Let me go get Sophie then. Let's get a joke. Lighten this thing up.
Love, exciting and new. Hello, Hannah Waddingham here. Have you seen the fabulous new Sun Princess? World-class entertainment, exceptional dining, and the greatest pizza ever. It's alive.
Don't miss our Come Aboard sale with up to 40% off and free room upgrades. Visit princess.com or call your travel advisor to book. Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Offer ends 2/28/25. Ships of Bermudan and British Registry.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey, you're not on mute.
Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate Pina Colada and Thai iced coffee flavored creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
Oh, we got Taekwondo Sophie.
Yeah, Taekwondo Sophie.
Taekwondo Sophie.
Taekwondo Sophie.
Sophie's like a Barbie. She's just like
Karate Kid Sophie.
Yeah.
Karate Kid Sophie.
That's what it is. I am like a Barbie. I can do it all. Can't stop me.
Right.
Can't stop,
I'm in
won't
debate
stop.
too.
Mm-hmm.
And math team. I'm in everything.
Yep. Getting ready for law school.
What? Whoa there, bucko. Let's relax. I'm telling jokes.
You just tell jokes.
Yeah. Well,
You can lighten the mood in the courtroom. That'd be your opening argument. Start off with a little joke.
I can't do that.
Why not?
Because I'm using jokes about cows right now. Speaking of that, what do cows do on date night?
Movies.
I'm gonna get you. I knew I should have just let you put it in the edit pause, but I didn't.
You can add a pause. You can add 3-second pause to it.
Did you hear about the polite clown? It was a nice jester. See, I'm gonna win. You can't stop me.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
You can never end my rampage.
Go. Finish up.
I have more.
Find your MLS argument.
She's starting to even sound like Jan, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy.
So I had one last week. I think Ferg, you didn't get Ferg or Rozzy. One of y'all didn't get one.
Ferg didn't, I think. Yeah.
My question is, it's a little personal. You know, I try to share, be transparent. And I think I mentioned it to you, Rozzy. So I was meeting with my therapist a few weeks ago, and we were talking about my expectations. And especially when it comes to others. And he had some thoughts on it and everything like that. And we went from expectations to standards. So my question is two-part. It's, do you think, or what do you think is the difference between expectations and standards? And do you think one is more important than the other? And if so, which one?
So the standards are more a generalized, I guess you could say, expectation of what you expect out of people versus personal, specific, individual expectations are based on the person you're dealing with. If someone hears something and you know they can't keep a secret, your expectation is that secret is going to get out and spread eventually, versus if someone hears something and they're very good at keeping secrets, like, you know, you tell them something, they're going to keep it where it is between you and them, then your expectation is that they're not going to tell anyone else. So expectations vary from person to person. A standard, I think, can be kind of described as a bare minimum of what you just expect out of the everyday person on a day-to-day basis. I'm gonna do the answer everybody hates. I think they're equally important, because if you go by what my two definitions are, when you have an expectation of someone, that's usually formed and developed over time and experience with that person, and been in similar situations, have had similar things happen to where you formed this expectation of that person. So if they don't live up to their expectation, that's a bit of a letdown. And with a standard like day to day, I mean, because it's such a bare minimum, when someone colors outside the line of that standard, that bare minimum, that's going to affect your day, you know, if you're dealing with that person or whatever. And it's usually bad, because if somebody goes above the standard and is like overly nice, that's a good experience. But usually they go below that standard. That means it's some type of conflict that you got to address right away. So I think that's a bad answer, but I'm going to say...
I like it. It's a good response. What about you, Rozzy?
I'll start with the which one's more important. Because I agree they're equally, or they're both important. For me, I do think that, truthfully, expectations are more important. And going back to my decision or my definition of them is why. It's because I expand that expectation to not just knowing somebody and having expectations of them, but how you walk through life, how you go through life. Like, if you go into a room, are you expecting to be greeted nicely or not, right? Like, your expectations of life, like, there are people that are, you know, glass half full, super happy people, and then there's people that are just down on themselves, right? And they expect the worst. So when I talk about expectations, it's not necessarily about an individual person, which it is, but I think it's that outlook on life of I'm expecting the worst. I'm expecting that I'm not going to get the job, versus that person that expects that. Jen was the perfect example of this. No matter what happened, Jen would be like, it'll be okay. It'll be all right. I can quit my job. It'll be all right. And you guys know, right? Like Jen was like the most positive or like cool headed person. Z is kind of the same way. Z is like, it'll work out. Like the hippies of the world. Like when you think about that, right? They have these expectations of the world will figure it out around them. And whatever they do won't matter because, or they can do whatever and the world will just adjust to them. Versus those people that, you know, are maybe a little more level-headed and have the expectations of, like, guys in general have expectations of, this is a dangerous situation that we're about to walk in. I got to assess the situation. I'm going to walk in and I'm going to know where the exit's at. And don't know all this. Like, we have these expectations that, I don't know, a terrorist is going to jump out from behind the bushes at any given moment, right? Like, that's what I mean. And so for me, I think that expectation can really color how you move through life, how effective you are in life, right? How, if you have that expectation that you're good enough and that you will be well received and that you can do it, I think you end up going further than if you just always think that the worst is about you. You know those people that just the Eeyores of the world, right? Like, oh, it's gonna be bad. Pessimists of the word, right? Like, yeah. And so that's why I think that probably is a bigger thing than your standards, right? And because when you talk about standards, I really do feel like you said, Buff, it's that bare minimum, right? It's that, hey, if you don't meet this, then I can't mess with you or whatever. So it's important because that's how you're going to select or pick who's going to be around you, who's going to move with you, who you're going to let in your circle, who you're going to love, all that stuff. So you need those standards. But even if your standards are baseline super low, if you have that positive outlook about things, I feel like you're still going to, I guess, be happier in life. So that's why I think it's a little more important.
Another great answer. And I think for the first time in recent history, we're going to get 3 different responses. Mm. So I'll start with standards. I'll start with standards. So for me, a standard is more personal. It's super personal. So give you some back history of the conversation with my therapist. So we were talking about my birthday party, and where I kept saying this is going to be a conversation with my therapist.
Right.
And we talked about it, and I was like, I was taken aback because I don't expect people to do anything for me. I don't have that expectation. It's almost kind of hard for me. It caught me off guard because it like I just don't have that expectation, right? And I compared it to something we talked about, example we talked about it in the past, and I call it the gift equation, right? You know, I hate when people ask me, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday? Because I don't know what to say to them because I don't know where I stand with them. If Rozzy asks me what I want for my birthday and I can say I want this new PS5 game, it's $54.99. Whoa, buddy, you're a $50 friend. You $5 over stay in your place, right? Where somebody else, Buff, I'm like, oh man, 50. I was willing to get you, $100 gift, but Buff, similar to Buff's real life, Buff got it. So if I got it, ain't tricking if you got it. So for him, that $100 doesn't mean anything. Rozzy might be frugal and it's like, whoa, $50. I got a mom, kids. Like that's a lot of ask. So for me, I have zero to no expectations of anybody, right? Because we talked about me not having expectations of anybody really, or a very slim group of people, and it's still not too much, right? And the expectation levels might be a little different, but it might be very vague or in general based off of where you're at, in that level. But so my expectations are very, very low of people. However, I think that anybody that knows me thinks I probably have super high standards, like even sometimes unrealistic. And then what's crazy to me, my standards aren't super high. I just feel like we use the word the norm or base level. I feel like my standards should kind of be the norm. I've heard people like, man, you're a good husband, you don't cheat on your wife. Like, nigga, that just should be the norm, right? Like, you get to your wife and kids, like, that doesn't make me a good husband or father. That's just kind of, in my world, that's the standard. That should be the norm. And so I use that as an example, but my standards are based off of me. Like I'm going to move a certain way. Like I surround myself around people who have good energy and that can pour into me, that aren't gonna be that negative Nancy, that I can trust around my family, that I can trust, that I can talk to on a, they like to see me win. I like to see them. That's my standard, the way I move with my family, the way I treat my life, the way I approach my career. Those are my standards. You do a lot. It's like I do more because I feel like I can do more. Like if you know better, do better. And I think one of y'all says y'all hate that saying, but it's, man, I can kind of stop right here, but I know that there's more of me to give. Mm-hmm. And so, but my expectation of, Rozzy, so if Rozzy showed up, I was completely gracious. I was floored. You saw the video. But was my expectation for Rozzy to show up at my birthday? If he didn't show up, was I upset with Rozzy? Was I upset with anybody that didn't show up? No, because one person showing up, especially from out of town, was far past any expectation that I even had, right? I got asked 1,000 times, what are you doing for birthday? I don't know. Z might have a dinner or something. I don't, like that was I had no expectations for my birthday. Had no expectations for Christmas. I just, it's the standard is I want to be around people I love and care about and just to enjoy whatever we do. And so as you probably can tell, for me, having your own personal standard that you live by, that you don't allow anybody, and it doesn't have to be the bare minimum, but I don't let anybody below this, be in my circle, because I think I set my standard to a point where if I have no expectations of you, I don't have to have high expectations of you, because you got to be in the bunch. You got to be in this, meet my standards, right? Like I've disassociated myself with people in my life because they didn't meet my standard. Like, I don't like drama. I don't like mess. I'm not going to do certain things. If you move this way, I don't expect you to change. Why? How can I expect you? If that's who you are, if you've been like this for 70 years, you've been like this for 50 years, 40, why would I expect you to change for me or to treat me differently? If Byron doesn't respect his daughter, why would he respect me? Why should I expect better than you do for people that are in your household? So for me, I have no expectations of people. If you can meet my standards, you can play the game with me. If not, then, and my therapist because well, you should tell people when they don't meet your expectation. Like, I really don't have, I can be disappointed in somebody just because, but well, you should tell, what's the point? That doesn't change them. Why should I have that? I almost get upset with myself having an expectation of them that they can't even meet. Like, why should I, if you've been this way for 50 years on this one occasion, why should I think you're different? If you've been bad with money all your life and I let you borrow money, you don't pay me back, why am I upset? Why did I expect you to pay me back? The reason you borrow money because you owe Rozzy money. And Rozzy want his money back because Rozzy got to pay Buff. Like, why would I expect anything different? You are who you are, and all I can expect you to be is who you are. And so, if either I can accept it or I don't.
But yeah, I mean, you say that, but you're almost combining expectation with the standard, right? Like, I don't have these expectations, but I expect this minimum standard out of you, and if you don't meet it, then you're out of the way. But you have those expectations from the people in your circle. It's just that if they don't meet those standards, but it's across the board. So it's not like I can expect something from you and I can expect something different from Byron. Like, to me, it's not that important because it's not care enough. It's nothing I can do about it. You are who you are. And so I can't expect more from you than I do from him. So my standard is for me
to be comfortable, this is the standard. For me to walk in, you know, going back to being a medic, is the scene safe? Like, that's all is this safe? Here's my standard. Does it meet this? And then if so, then everything else. It's just that standard is based off of my expectation or my standard for what makes me comfortable, what I'm willing to give, what I'm willing to be around, what I'm willing to interact with. And it's just, I don't know. And it's helped me.
Let me ask you this though. Do you expect most people to be able to meet those standards? Like, yeah. Do you I mean, the people, that guy and that guy, those are probably the only two guys that's going to meet this standard. Everybody else, I don't expect to. Like, no, so, but my standards aren't that high. Like I said, it's because, you know, I move with people on so many different levels. It's not an income. It's just like, a lot of it's just your energy. If you're a negative person, I can't be around you. Like, I don't entertain negative. I don't like to argue with certain people. Like, even on here, I will debate and stuff like that, but I'm not going to get argued. I don't hold a grudge with anybody. Like, I can't think of anybody I'm beefing with. They might be beefing with me, but I'm not beefing with them because nothing you do is going to affect my life. Like, me and you can get into it right now, but at the end of the day, I still got to pay the bills. I still got to keep my wife happy. I got to get my kids fed. I got to go to work tomorrow. That doesn't change for me. And so my expectations, to me, can just be unrealistic. Like, where did I get that from anyway? You know, why would I put this expectation on you? Like, you supposed to be my best friend. You supposed to have my back. Why? Like, dude, you're wrong. Why, you know, what made you think I was going to do that? What made you think I was going to buy you $100 gift? I don't buy my kids $100 gift, you know? And like I said, I move with people on so many different levels. Now, I might move with you more, not because based off an expectation, we just might share more in common. You know, like I might talk to you more than I talk to somebody else, maybe from home or high school, because, you know, they're good people and stuff like that. We go to Mobile, we're going to see a lot of people from our class, and we can dap it up cool, like we can chop it up. But if you're like super negative, yada, yada, I listen to y'all show, y'all be on that book. Okay, cool. Keep it moving. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm not going to entertain your energy. But I came to hang with you guys because we shared more. My expectations aren't like, I'm not high of you guys, but my expectations aren't that crazy. And like I said, there are a few people, very few people, that there are some expectations, whether I like them or not, that are just there just because of the relationships we built over time. And I've seen you interact a certain way and be these people. So, and I don't even know if it's my expectation. It's just the way I've known you. Because if you act outside of that, I can't be mad at you because. Yeah, does that make sense? Like, if Risey just started just doing random stuff, I can't be mad at you for changing what's going on in your life that's making you, like, if you just went into a funk. But you would, yeah. Like, if I get in funks, right, I disappear sometimes. That's just some of the things I do. But I think if there are expectations of us as friends, all three of us, right? I think you have higher expectations of us as your friend if something happened for us to be there versus some other people that you might call your friends, but you don't have the same expectations of just because you're not as close to them. You talk about that, right? So I think there's levels to the expectations based on how close you are, how long you've known them, whether they're family or not, right? Like there's a lot of different expectations that you have, and there are levels to that. I think you're equating it to just financial, where he might not buy the game.
No. That was a simple comparison.
But, but I mean, if something happened, say something happened, you got in a car accident, you probably know I'm going to be on that expectation's there that I'm going to be on a plane. Buff's going to be on a plane. We're going to be down there to help you or help Z or whatever. We're going to be there. And if that expectation's not but I get it, because I didn't expect y'all to just swoop into Birmingham after Jan passed, right? Like, I didn't expect that. I'm like, all right, I'm on this thing, but y'all showed up at the house, and I'm like, whoa, it's my boy.
And that's what I mean. If we wouldn't have showed up because life was happening, there was a pandemic happening, there was all these things happening, would you have been disappointed because your expectation was for us to be there? I don't have that expectation. I know there's a chance if anybody's going to show up, it's going to be these guys. If they don't show up, I can't be mad at them because for whatever reason, something else was going on. Like we met, I missed some important dates for both you guys, funerals and stuff like that. I couldn't be there or whatever was going on. I don't remember what it was, but I couldn't be there. And I'm hoping that you didn't hold that against me. It's like, that's my best friend. He should have been here. That was my expectation versus, he's going to be here when he can. When he shows up, I knew he was going to be here. If he doesn't show up, man, I'm surprised he's not here, but I'm not mad because to me, an expectation is something like this is what it is. I expect to get paid on the 1st and the 1st and the 15th, right? That's my expectation. If it doesn't happen, I have a bone to pick. You can't pay me on the 16th. What are we talking about? You can't hold my check for 2 weeks. What are you talking about? That's not going to happen. If we get an investment and I expect to make money with you, like we invest, we're doing this, we're flipping houses and something goes wrong, I can't be mad. It's a gamble. Like the expectation is to make money, but we didn't make money. We lost money, and I think that's for me. It's like, there's certain people that I see moving more, but I don't have that expectation for them to do certain things. Like even when my dad died and all, like when people showed up at the funeral, I was not expecting certain people to show up. Like it was just, hey, my dad died. Here's a funeral dates. If you show, you show. I wasn't expecting flowers. That's just how I am. If so I did anything,
when people do things that you don't expect, does that raise your expectations?
No,
for those people over time.
No, it makes me appreciate them and what they've done more, but it's not because if it happens tomorrow, I'm not going to expect you to do that same thing. If you do it, man, this dude Byron is just, man, that's a hell of a friend. That is a hell of a friend, man. I couldn't ask for a better friend. But if he doesn't do it the third time, it's like, hey, this is what we do. Like this person dies, you buy me flowers, you come here. This is the expectation of what happens, right? And so I'm not gonna say I don't have any expectations in life or any expectations of friends or people, but sometimes I'll check myself. So if Rozzy doesn't show up to some of you don't show up to something, like, man, it would have been cool to see Rozzy. And I find myself like, man, damn, this would have been a dope ass weekend if Buff was here or Rozzy was here. But, it's like, man, that dude got a wife and that brother got this is going on, all these other things. And I'm like, I get over it because I put this unrealistic expectation. Like, you never told me that you were coming. So me just assuming you're coming, that was an unrealistic expectation I put on you.
And I think that's what I think. You have the expectations there. You temper them, right? You hold them down to where like, hey, I'm going to give Rozzy and Buff a little bit higher expectation than I give random friend. But at the same time, that's still low because I don't want to be disappointed, right? I don't want to be disappointed in any of that, right?
It's a protection mechanism.
I think that's more so what it is. It's like you keep it super low bare minimum, but there's still levels to it, like you say, of that. Like you even said it, like, hey, if anybody's gonna be here, it's gonna be these guys, right? So you have that expectation of us that we would be the ones to show up if people are showing up, right? It's just that you keep that low where it's like they're not gonna be here every time. Or you're just realistic, right? Like you have that expectation that if they can show up, they will show up. That's your expectation. And that's what it is.
You hit it right there because it doesn't matter. Like I've said before, I think Wendell is one of the best friends a person can have, but everybody has, limitations, especially when you get responsibilities as an adult and things like that. So you have what is it? You can have your expectations, but there are certain scenarios where you're like, okay, they couldn't make it or whatever like that. So there are certain situations where your expectations, even if they're not met, that person gets a pass because if they could help it, they would do this or they would be there for you or whatever like that. So.
And again, going back to that, your standards because you only allow people in your circles that you have those high standards, those expectations are really easy to be met, right? Because your standards are so high. I think that's a little bit of it.
He doesn't think his standards are high, though.
But I don't think so. I think it's just...
I'll give the example. I tell Lee all the time, my phrase, anytime I'm doing stuff like, get a new job, got a big promotion, I'm like, I'm a simple man with simple dreams. And like Lee always comes back, she's like, you're not simple. Your friends aren't simple. Like, that's the problem. It's like your network is like, they are not the like simple, mediocre people. And so in my eyes, I'm like, oh, I'm just a simple guy. I'm just a regular dude. And she's like, no, it's because you have that circle that is doing so well that you see that as the norm. But she's like, y'all aren't normal. And I have to like think about that sometime. And that's why I talked about that network and I shouted y'all out a couple of episodes ago, because we are not the norm. Your circle's not the norm. So, your expectations are very high. It's just that it doesn't feel high because of how good your circle is.
Yeah, and I think standards are relative. Like, yeah. So, I mean, and then my final thing on this, for me, expectations are more personal for individual people. And it's when I think of an expectation, and the key word is expect, I think that is like a must. And I think, there's a problem. I believe in probability. If anybody's going to make, it's probably going to be these guys. But if they don't show, I don't expect them to show. Like, my expectations, to me, expectations almost inflappable, right? Like I said, I expect to get paid on these days. There's no negotiating. There's nothing. What are we talking about? That's the expectation. You expect me to show up for work. You expect me to do certain things to keep my job, right? My standard to be my friend is like being a good person, yada, yada, yada. That is to be in my presence, right? But the probability of you showing up when I need you, and if you don't, it's kind of like, well, something's going on. Like, something's going on with Rozzy, but I don't see myself being mad. Because think about it, in 30 years, we've had some debates on like dumb stuff, just show debates. But when it comes to being the principle of something, like, I don't think I've ever shown you that I've been disappointed in you. Like, right. I've never said like you have let me down or whatever thing, like, because my expectation of you.
Oh no, there was that one time. I'll cut that out.
Oh, cut that out. What the? Hey, Ferg, watch he forgets to cut it out. Watch. Yeah. We're gonna listen.
9-minute mark. Text him right now, Byron. 59-minute mark.
Jesus Christ, man.
It's the truth, though. I'm just saying.
What the hell?
Now, you know what, Rozzy? You might be right.
You know what, though? It's not a secret, though.
No, I'm very big on my I'm opinionated. I will say what's on my mind. I feel like we say it all the time. If you don't know the truth, don't ask for it, right? But at the end of the day, once you did what you did, you made your decision. I'm going to support it. I'm always going to tell you, like, I stood by your side. Like, you need me there, I'm going to be there for you, right? I'm going to always be there for you, right? But yet at the same time, I'm going to let you know how I feel. But my expectation of you make some dumb decisions. Put your foot in your mouth, But I think that's more of just like getting to know you, right? But and I think when you use the word expectation, I think it's like this person following a path. Like, I expect you guys to be successful. I expect you to take care of your family. Like, that's kind of, and that's more so. And if you use an expectation in that word, but that's kind of more so because that's the way I see you, but not when it comes to our personal relationship. Like, I don't expect you to, hey man, I need $1,000. Like, I ain't giving out money in 2025. He got it, but if you say no, like, I wasn't counting on your $1,000. Like in my mind, I got to find out a way to do it. I can't expect anybody to bail me out. Now, if you're like, bro, tell me we need it, like, that sounds like Raza. You know, like, I'm not surprised. You know, not being surprised and expectations are two different things. Because, like, oh, yeah, let me call Raza. He going to give it to me. What you mean you don't got it? You know, that's my expectation. You know, like, we got kids who expect the world. Like, they want certain things. And, you know, if you say no, they're upset. So, all right, let's go.
More rewards, more savings. With American Express Business Gold, earn up to $395 back in annual statement credits on eligible purchases at select shipping, food delivery, and retail subscription merchants, including the $155 Walmart Plus monthly membership credit and $240 flexible business credit. Enjoy the benefits of membership with the Amex Business Gold Card. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
This episode is brought to you by Nerds Gummy Clusters, the sweet treat that always elevates the vibe. With a sweet gummy surrounded with tangy, crunchy nerds, every bite of Nerds Gummy Clusters brings you a whole new world of flavor. Whether it's game night, on the way to a concert, or kicking back with your crew, unleash your senses with Nerds Gummy Clusters.
I don't know if we got the time for another one.
I think we straight. Hopefully that was a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, good combo.
Yeah, so
definitely. I just want to say, Atlanta, never change. You guys got some snow down there. Hell, even Razio got some snow in Birmingham. But some of the videos I saw, y'all Atlanta. That's all I can say. And I need to set the record straight. I don't have a condo in Miami. And you know what? We always argue about who has the bigger household income. Forget that. I have the least household surplus of the three of us.
Because you have expensive taste.
And them is facts. You have
expensive taste.
What was it, M5?
So M4. And Razio had a Burberry scarf on a snowman. I want to repeat that again. Razio had a Burberry scarf on a snowman in his front yard, and he tried to blame his son and said Ollie grabbed it.
He just grabbed it.
What is that? Where's the accountability, sir? But no, man, that was it. Look, it was a lot more funnier than that last time Atlanta got snow, where everybody was stranded on the interstate.
That was bad,
and that was terrible. It was cool to see you guys have fun, and it looks like, you know, you were more prepared. People stayed home, and it was funny, man. I definitely, you know, I don't know if snowman should be holding Hennessy bottles and stuff, but whatever. you know, y'all Atlanta, so that's what y'all do. So that, and by the time you hear this episode, TikTok should be banned, but I don't think it will. We're still waiting on the Supreme Court to, I'm assuming they're going to come out with a ruling tomorrow as we record on this Thursday. But either way, it's going to be interesting because Trump has said he's going to rescue it. But I heard two Republican senators on the floor yesterday, Senator Cotton and I forgot the other senator, but they was like vehemently saying, no, this needs to go. And they either need to sell to an American or it needs to be banned in our country. So it's going to be interesting to see how, or if they concede to the president or whatever like that. So if you're a fan of TikTok, you know, it may be going away, but it probably won't be. But, you know, China does have all your information. I mean, I know most of y'all don't care, but I think that part is true. So, man, that's all I got other than, you know, subscribe, Three Brothers No Sense. We're on all podcast platforms. Any podcast platform that allows you to rate us, please give us 5 stars because we deserve that now.
Yep.
But that's all I got, man.
Click and subscribe, baby. Speaking of social media and these huge companies. I want to shout out Apple. I'm a huge Apple fan anyway. I don't like their computers for some reason. I don't like Macs, but I love the rest of the ecosystem, Apple TVs and iPhones and all that good stuff. But what I will say is I want to shout them out because they push back and they're defending their DEI policies, and they said that they will not cut their DEI departments. They're a private company and they can do what they want. And they said that they are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they will not cut their DEI programs. That's dope. I'm glad somebody stood up and said, we're not a publicly funded school that y'all can tell me what to do and what not to do and that type of thing. We can do what we want with our employee base, and we can actually support diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is not racist. It does nothing but make people feel included at work, right? Like if you are Indian American or an immigrant, or if you want to celebrate Diwali, cool. We're happy to do that, right? We can have an EBRG that talks about that and lets other employees know what it is, know about our culture, know about the African American business resource group or something like that. Those things are big. They're a big deal. And you guys know I'm a huge proponent of DEI anyway. And so for Apple to come out and say they're going to support it, they're going to hold on to it and risk the ire of the president and MAGA and everybody else in the anti-DEI crowd, that's a big deal. And that's huge. So shout out to them, man. And other than that, I'm getting ready for the second liner ball. By the time you guys hear this, I will be hungover trying to recover from it. But shout out to the Port City second liners, and they're one of the biggest balls down in Mobile at the time. And so I'll be down there for that. And also coming up is a sneaker ball. If you don't have your tickets, you're probably out of luck because I think they're sold out. But we will be down there, so I'm excited about that. But what is it? Rulu? I can't even say it now. Let the good times roll. I was about to say the Vulu Sheikh Abu Kwa, Lady Marmalade, but yeah, that. So whatever it is, let the good times roll. It's Mardi Gras season, baby. Let's go.
Well, I'm going to start with this. Byron, you kind of stole my thunder about the snow day. So Atlanta, you guys did Atlanta. Atlanta like you ain't never Atlanta before. So lean in close. If you guys know this, Donald Glover, if you listen to this or somebody gives you this, can you tag him? Donald Glover, I need you to make a special episode of Atlanta just about Snow Day. Call it Snow Day. I saw some of the most ridiculous videos ever. And it was so Atlanta. I saw a snow person with ass. Like it was just
oh no.
Yeah, they put a BBL on a snowman. Like it's just
my God,
it's Atlanta, man. Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino. One episode of Atlanta called Snow Day.
The conclusion can be the winner of, because Jeezy was giving out a prize to the best snowman in the city. So
and you can do a whole episode about that, right? Jeezy going around looking for it and just seeing all the hilarity that happens going down around looking at snowman.
Don't leave the witness. Donald Glover. We need an episode. Special episode of Atlanta on Snow Day. You heard it here first. Three Brothers No Sense. Because we are getting ready, or supposedly getting ready, for a little winter blast coming through Houston Tuesday. So it's supposed to get down to the teens on MLK Day. And then Tuesday, we're supposed to get some precipitation that is supposed to turn into snow and supposed to stick. So we've heard rumors that we might get up to a half foot of snow or something. So we shall see. And I wonder if Houston's going to out Atlanta. Because if they do, challenge accepted. I want to see. I don't know what they can do, but it's going to have something to do with a car. They might have some spokes. They might have some swangers.
Somebody go put a snowman in their swanger.
They can be Snow loud and banging. There it is. Slab. Yeah. And last but not least, I want to say a belated happy anniversary to some of the greatest ladies in the community. First, starting with Delta Sigma Theta, celebrating their anniversary on January 13th. Then the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha celebrating their anniversary on January 15th. And closing out would be the ladies of Zeta Phi Beta celebrating their birthday today when the show on the 16th. Happy anniversary, ladies. I hope I get everybody right. I pledge, and I think I remember those dates. If not, then I pledge. So with that being said, see you guys soon. Hopefully in Mardi Gras, see you at the Boom Boom. Come holler at me. Like I said, I'm ready to chop it up with anybody. As long as you keep that energy good. 3 brothers, no sense. 6 rules of podcast. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week.